Hello, welcome back. Thanks a lot for joining me. My name's Oliver Shillito, and if you've never seen the channel before, I do a mixture of gear reviews, mix tips, mastering stuff, and everything in between. For those of you who joined me last week, we did a review of the revered TubeTech CL1B. You can see that up here. We have one of the first of the many clones which have come to market. The Antelope Audio A4 1B. Thanks a lot to Sam at Make Noise Pro Audio, as well as Antelope, for sending this over for review. Now, as you've just seen, this is brand new in box. This is a brand new unit. As far as I'm aware, it might be one of the only ones in the UK at the moment, but it's here, so we're going to check it out. This has got some very interesting features which we're going to go through. So let me show you the front panel and then the back panel, and we'll go from there. All right, so starting off at the back panel, you have input XLR and jack, which is cool. Then you've got your external sidechain, bus 1 and 2, which is similar to what the TubeTech has on it. But then, the star of the show, USB-C. And as you can see, that is for automation. Now, that is the trick of this compressor. And I'm going to show you more about this in a moment. Looking at the front panel, you've got bypass and compress. You've then got your gain, attack, release, ratio, threshold, timing, meter, and sidechain link. That is all absolutely the same as the CL1B. However, this unit is 2U and not 3U. Let's get it plugged in. Alright, here we are in Pro Tools now. I've plugged in the USB-C behind, and you've got standard automation. Well, you've got standard plugin control, like you would with any other digital plugin. Although, Antelope have done things a little differently, because when you move the knobs, they're actually motorized on the front. Now, these selector switches are not motorized. However, when changing them on the compressor, it will reflect in the plugin. Now, the wild thing that I think is really cool, you've obviously got automation session to session, but if you go up here to this menu and you click on calibration, if you go to calibrate VU meter, the attack knob, as you will now see, will calibrate the position of the VU meter. So if it's not sitting exactly at 0, you can turn it until it does. Then you press done. Voila, meter's now sat at 0. Super handy. You've also got another feature in there in calibration where you can calibrate the opto cells and the VU reference level. We're going to leave them alone for now. Let's have a listen to how this thing sounds.
Yes, I'm an addict, call me a savage, doing whatever to feed my habit. Just like a rabbit looking for carrots, I gotta have it, and life is so lavish. Things are bigger than the workout, G, exactly how I planned it. Here it out, put the work in, attempting to raise the standard. Branded, I got my home tee with a 5-panel Lambo. Jeans, I don't sow seams, but seeds, yes. Dreams and my reality are becoming somewhat seamless. Oh my, G, I'm not focused on no timepiece, but I find peace. Hits on my pitch black, roll up in the pitch black, shades on pitch black, turn up and it's pitch. Yes, I'm an addict, call me a savage, doing whatever to feed my habit. Just like a rabbit looking for carrots, I gotta have it, and life is so lavish. Things are bigger than the workout, G, exactly how I planned it. Here it out, put the work in, attempting to raise the standard. Branded, I got my home tee with a 5-panel Lambo. Jeans, I don't sow seams, but seeds, yes. Dreams and my reality are becoming somewhat seamless. Oh my, G, I'm not focused on no timepiece, but I find peace. Yes, I'm an addict, call me a savage, doing whatever to feed my habit. Just like a rabbit looking for carrots, I gotta have it, and life is so lavish. Things are bigger than the workout, G, exactly how I planned it. Here it out, put the work in, attempting to raise the standard. Branded, I got my home tee with a 5-panel Lambo. Jeans, I don't sow seams, but seeds, yes. Dreams and my reality are becoming somewhat seamless. Oh my, peace. Dead, yes, I'm an addict, call me a savage. Doing whatever to feed my habit. Just like a rabbit looking for carrots. I gotta have it, and life is so lavish. Things are bigger than the workout, G, exactly how I planned it. Every day I put the work in, attention to raise the standard. Branded, I got my home tee with a 5-panel Lambo. Jeans, I don't sew seams, but see.
Now, if there's one thing, let's call it a bugbear of mine. On the gain knob, you see here, you have +10 at the top. Well, the way the rotary knob is, because it's micro stepped, you can't actually get it on exactly +10. It's either slightly above it or slightly below it. There is no option to get it right on +10. You can't even go in between a step. You're either above it or below it, which to some people wouldn't bother you, but to me, that kind of does bother me a little bit, because ultimately it's marked out on the dial on the front, which means it should be a setting that is obtainable, and it's not, because here you're going to be -9 or +9 point something, and here you're going to be +10 point something, so you can't quite be exact. The rest of them are not really marked accordingly, but this dial does the exact same thing on threshold. That is annoying. You can't have it on exactly straight up the middle. That's not a thing. That's the only really negative I can draw from this. All right, so some thoughts on the A4 1B. If I was to go negatives first, why is it motorised? This is one piece of gear where I think most people leave it set and forget up the middle. Like, it's a classic setting for vocals, so you're not really doing a lot of automation on it. It feels a little bit more like twofold. One, because we can, but two is I think there's going to be other devices coming out from Antelope which are going to include this automation technology. So this one will be, I guess, the first of many, and you've got to start somewhere, right? The positives of it are, it definitely works, it's instantaneous and it's seamless, and that's really, really cool. The benefits of it is, if you have a bigger studio and you've got racks behind you or whatever, and you need to stay in the sweet spot to listen, well, there you go. You can do. And it also means that when you turn in the knobs on the actual hardware unit, the plugin follows suit. So it is cool. Who have they made it for? Well, I think there's a lot of people that could get some benefit out of this device. It's not all about the automation. Let's talk about the sound quality. What does it sound like? And does it compete with the CL1B, the classic? Yes and no. For me, it does have a very pristine analog signal path. There's no noise. It's very quiet. It does its thing. It sounds great. However, I still prefer the original. The original to me is a little bit cleaner and a little bit more musical sounding. I hear a little bit of harmonic saturation going on in the Antelope version, and a little bit woollier sounding in the mids. It's not a bad thing, it's just a flavour. I wouldn't say that the Antelope sounds bad. It doesn't. It sounds phenomenal. But as a flavour of CL1B, I'd probably go with the original. The Antelope is significantly cheaper. Run you about £2,000, give or take. There is a link down in the description below where you can go and check them out at Make Noise Pro Audio, who have now become a distributor for Antelope Audio. Having had a good play with it and switching out between the two, yeah, it's definitely got its benefits. And I think if this automation technology is pushed forwards into different types of devices that may see automation a lot more often in a mix, it's definitely going to be useful. And I absolutely love the VU calibration on it. That's amazing, because over time, any of you guys out there that have analog gear know that over time, calibrations and needles do slip a little bit. They do tend to slip, and some of these devices are a pain in the ass trying to get them calibrated. This one, bang the plug-in open, turn the attack knob, done. Super easy and really well thought out. It's a great idea. The only thing I could see potentially being an issue is how long are these motorised pots going to last before they break? Don't know. This is the first device I know of that uses them, so I guess we'll find out in due course whether or not they last. You would hope that Antelope have gone to the trouble of, stress testing them and making sure that they're fine, which I'm sure they have, but just to throw it out there. Overall, I'm really impressed with this device. The build quality is really good on it. I think it's a thumbs up for Antelope for this device on the whole. I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Drop them in the comments below. Let's have a discussion about it, and join me next week, because next week we're going to be shooting out the original versus the Antelope, and we're going to find out exactly how close is it and how good does it actually sound. So until then, take care of yourselves. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.